The soft glow of the early evening settled gently over the quaint streets of Maplewood, a small town where everyone knew everyone else's story, yet still welcomed new ones with open arms. Emma Collins, wrapped in her favorite cozy scarf, hurried down the narrow sidewalk, clutching a worn leather-bound notebook close to her chest. She had been running late for her first poetry reading at the local cafe, a place she'd dreamed about performing in for years, but had always found reasons to avoid. Tonight felt different, though. Tonight, there was a stirring hope inside her, though the familiar flutter of nerves kept her steps brisk. As she rounded the corner toward the Willow Cafe, a sudden gust of chilly wind swept through, scattering a handful of amber leaves across the pavement. Emma stopped to gather them when her eyes caught a figure seated on the cafe's rustic wooden bench, a man whose gentle smile seemed to light the dusky street better than any lamppost. His dark hair was tousled by the breeze, and his eyes, warm and inviting, met hers with an unexpected softness. "Waiting for someone?" he asked, his voice calm and steady, carrying a soothing quality that made Emma's heartbeat skip. "Not exactly," she replied, offering a shy smile. "I'm about to read some poetry inside." "First time?" He nodded, a knowing glimmer in his eyes. "I'm Noah. I'm new in town, still figuring things out. Maybe I could be your first fan." Emma laughed softly, the tension in her chest loosening. There was something about Noah's smile. It wasn't just a simple curve of lips, but an invitation to feel safe, to be seen without pretense. That moment, beneath the canopy of twilight and swirling leaves, felt like the start of something unexpected and beautiful. In the weeks that followed, Emma and Noah's paths crossed more often, each encounter deepening the quiet bond forming between them. Emma, a passionate writer with a guarded heart, carried the weight of past disappointments hidden beneath her bright exterior. She had grown up in Maplewood, but had long felt like an outsider in her own life, retreating into words and stories to make sense of a world that often felt too loud and overwhelming. Her dreams were stitched into the pages of her notebook, dreams of connection, acceptance, and finally being understood. Noah, on the other hand, was a newcomer with a past wrapped in mystery and shadows. A talented carpenter, he had left behind a bustling city life filled with expectations and unfulfilled promises. His quiet strength and gentle demeanor masked the pain of battles fought in silence. Moving to Maplewood was his chance to start fresh, to find peace and, perhaps unexpectedly, love. Maplewood itself was a character in their story, a charming town with cobblestone streets, blooming gardens, and the ever-present scent of fresh coffee and baked goods from the cafe. It was a place where community events brought people together, where traditions were cherished, and where every sunset painted the sky with promise. As Emma prepared for her next poetry reading, the nervousness she once felt began to transform into anticipation, not just for the applause, but for the moments she'd share with Noah afterward. Their conversations revealed shared hopes and fears, dreams whispered under starry skies, and the kind of understanding that transcended words. Though their lives were still separate, the threads connecting them grew stronger with each stolen glance and heartfelt exchange. In this small town filled with familiar faces, Emma and Noah were beginning to write a new chapter, one where healing and love could bloom in the most unexpected ways. As autumn deepened, so did Emma and Noah's connection. They found themselves spending more time together, whether it was Noah helping Emma set up for her poetry readings or Emma visiting Noah's workshop to watch him transform raw wood into artful furniture. Each shared moment unveiled layers of their souls, quiet laughs exchanged over cups of coffee, lingering glances that spoke volumes, and conversations that peeled back the walls they'd carefully built around their hearts. One chilly afternoon, as golden leaves danced around them, Noah invited Emma to a nearby lake where the water mirrored the fiery hues of fall. Sitting on an old wooden dock, feet dangling above the shimmering surface, Emma felt a vulnerability she hadn't known she could share so freely. Noah listened with patient attention as she spoke of dreams and doubts, the ache of feeling unseen, in a world rushing by. In return, he revealed his own struggles, the loneliness of starting over, and the fear of never truly belonging. Their hands brushed lightly, a spark igniting between them, fragile yet undeniable. Neither rushed to define what it meant, savoring the slow burn of something tender unfolding. The air around them seemed charged with possibility as the sun dipped low, painting their faces in soft, warm light. Flirtation blossomed naturally in their shared smiles and playful teasing, but beneath it lay a growing emotional intimacy that drew them closer. Emma admired Noah's quiet strength and kindness, while Noah found solace in Emma's passionate spirit and gentle heart. They began dreaming aloud of futures that once seemed impossible, a life where acceptance wasn't conditional and love didn't require change. But even in these moments of closeness, shadows of doubt lingered. Both carried scars from past, hurts cautious of letting go too soon. Still, the pull between them grew stronger, weaving a delicate tension that promised deeper connection but demanded courage to embrace it fully. As the weeks passed, Emma and Noah's bond deepened beyond shared moments and whispered dreams. Their time together became a sanctuary, a place where the noise of the outside world faded, leaving only the gentle rhythm of two hearts learning to trust. They explored quiet corners of the town, from cozy bookstores where Emma recited poetry, to candlelit dinners beneath strings of twinkling lights. Noah had painstakingly hung in his workshop. Noah's gestures, small yet meaningful, spoke volumes. A hand left on Emma's back as they walked through the falling leaves, a carefully carved wooden pendant gifted just because. A note slipped into her coat pocket, reminding her she was seen and cherished. Emma responded with her own offerings. Song written for him, an old recipe she perfected for a dinner shared by the fire. Each act was a thread weaving them closer, building a tapestry of intimacy that was both tender and strong. They shared fears and dreams in quiet late-night talks, their voices soft with vulnerability. Emma confessed the wounds left by past betrayals, how she had once believed love demanded she shrink herself to fit another's mold. Noah, in turn, revealed the loneliness that shadowed his success, a silent ache for someone who would see and accept him wholly. In these moments, they discovered the rare beauty of unconditional acceptance. Noah never asked Emma to change the fierce independence that defined her, and Emma never urged Noah to hide his scars. Instead, they celebrated each other's imperfections, finding strength in the honesty that blossomed between them. Their relationship was not without its quiet struggles, misunderstandings, and moments of doubt tested their resolve, but each challenge only deepened their commitment. With every shared smile, every lingering touch, every whispered promise, they built a foundation rooted in trust, respect, and a love that felt as natural as breathing. In Noah's arms, Emma felt safe. In Emma's presence, Noah found hope. Together, they were learning what it meant to love fully and freely, discovering that the calm after every storm was not a distant dream, but a place they could create. Hand in hand, just as Emma and Noah's love began to feel unshakable, life's unpredictability swept in like an unexpected storm. Noah received a lucrative job offer in another city, one that could advance his career in ways he had only dreamed of, but meant leaving behind the quiet town and the woman who had become his anchor. The weight of the decision pressed heavily on him, tearing at the fabric of their growing relationship. Emma, too, faced her own challenges. Her family's expectations loomed large, urging her toward a more traditional, safer path, one that didn't include the uncertain, slow-burning love she was building with Noah. Her heart was caught between the familiar safety of pleasing those. She lived in the thrilling, terrifying freedom of choosing her own happiness. Tensions rose as the couple struggled to navigate the looming crossroads. Conversations that once flowed like soft melodies became tangled with fears and misunderstandings. Noah's silence after long days was met with Emma's quiet frustration. Emma's guarded moments left Noah feeling helpless and distant beneath. The surface, old wounds threatened to resurface. Emma's fear of abandonment whispered doubts in the quiet moments, while Noah wrestled with the fear of losing the one person who saw him without pretense. Their love, once a calm harbor, now felt fragile against the tides of uncertainty, yet, amidst the struggle, neither was willing to let go without a fight. Each was learning that love wasn't just about perfect moments, but about holding on when the world tried to pull them apart. They faced their fears together, wrestling with painful truths and the sacrifices that true commitment demanded in this turbulent chapter. Emma and Noah confronted the hardest question: could their love survive when everything else seemed to demand they choose differently? The answer lay not in the path of least resistance, but in the courage to face the storm hand in hand. The tension between Emma and Noah reached its peak on a rainy evening, when the weight of their fears finally spilled into the open. In the quiet of her small apartment, lit only by the soft glow of a single lamp, they faced each other with raw honesty. Noah's eyes held the pain of the choice tearing him apart, while Emma's heart trembled beneath the vulnerability she had kept hidden for so long. "I don't want to lose you," Noah whispered, his voice breaking. "But this job, it's everything I've worked for. I'm scared, Emma. Scared that if I stay, I'll regret it. And if I go, I'll lose you." Emma reached for his hand, her touch gentle but steady. "I'm scared too. Scared that if I let you go, I'll never forgive myself. But I also know that loving you means accepting you fully, even when life pulls us in different directions." In that moment, something shifted, a quiet surrender to the truth they both felt, but had been too afraid to say aloud. Love wasn't about changing each other or making perfect sacrifices. It was about choosing each other every day, even when it was hard. Noah pulled Emma close, their hearts beating in sync amid the storm outside. "I choose you. Not because you fit into my life perfectly, but because you make me want to be better, even as I am." Emma rested her head on his shoulder, tears mingling with the rain's steady rhythm. "And I choose you for all your flaws, your dreams, your fears, because you see me, all of me." The storm outside seemed to soften as if nature itself recognized the healing power of their love. In that embrace, they found the courage to face whatever challenges lay ahead. United not by certainty, but by trust and unwavering devotion, their emotional breakthrough was more than a declaration. It was a promise, a vow to stay, to fight, and to grow together, no matter what storms they would face. It was the moment their love truly became unbreakable. After the stormy night of truth, Emma and Noah's relationship blossomed into something stronger than either had imagined possible. They learned to balance their dreams with the reality of life's demands, always choosing communication and compassion over silence and doubt. Noah found a way to negotiate more time for his passion projects without sacrificing his career. Wow. Emma pursued her art with renewed confidence, inspired by the unwavering support he offered. Their days filled with simple joys, morning coffees shared in quiet kitchens, spontaneous walks under golden sunsets, laughter echoing through small town streets. Noah's smile became the anchor Emma reached for whenever life threatened to overwhelm her. And Emma's gentle strength was the calm that steadied Noah's restless spirit. Challenges came, as they always do, but instead of breaking them, each obstacle deepened their bond. Family misunderstandings, career setbacks, even moments of personal doubt were met hand in hand. a testament to the love that refused to waver. They dreamed aloud of a future filled with shared memories, a cozy home filled with light and warmth, and perhaps one day the soft sound of little footsteps echoing their love. One evening, beneath a sky painted with stars, Noah took Emma's hand and whispered, "Thank you for choosing me every day. I promise to keep choosing you, no matter what." Emma smiled through happy tears, knowing she had found the love she'd always hoped for, the kind that healed, uplifted, and never asked her to change who she was. Their story wasn't perfect, but it was theirs, an unbreakable bond forged in honesty, acceptance, and unwavering devotion. As they looked toward the horizon, hearts intertwined, they knew that whatever storms came their way, together they would always find the calm. The late afternoon sun spilled softly through the large windows of the cozy downtown cafe, casting warm golden hues on the worn wooden tables and the quiet hum of scattered conversations. Emma sat alone in the corner, clutching a steaming cup of chamomile tea, her fingers tracing the rim absent-mindedly as her eyes lingered on the pages of an old dog-eared journal. The words written inside were her thoughts and dreams she'd never dared voice aloud. Life had been a relentless storm lately, leaving her breathless and guarded. Across the room, Lucas watched quietly from his usual spot by the window, his sketchbook balanced on his knee. He was a man whose presence felt like calm after a tempest. The kind of person who noticed the little things, how Emma's fingers trembled just slightly, how her eyes betrayed a deep sadness beneath her composed exterior. When their eyes met, something unspoken passed between them, fragile yet undeniable. Their first words came with a shared smile as a clumsy waiter bumped into Emma's chair, sending a ripple of laughter between them. It was a small moment, but it cracked the walls Emma had built around her heart. Lucas's smile was gentle and warm, a silent promise that maybe, just maybe, she didn't have to face the storm alone anymore. Emma had always been fiercely independent, shaped by years of learning to rely only on herself. She grew up in a small, coastal town surrounded by salty sea air and the steady rhythm of crashing waves. But her heart carried the weight of loss, her mother's sudden passing when Emma was just 16, left a quiet ache she tucked away deep inside. She moved to the city to chase her dream of becoming a writer, seeking refuge in words when life felt too overwhelming. Her days were spent editing manuscripts in a modest publishing house, her nights wrapped in solitude and old memories, wondering if love was a luxury she no longer deserved. Lucas, on the other hand, was the kind of man who found beauty in the overlooked, the curve of a flower petal, the fleeting shadow of a bird on the pavement. Born and raised in the same city, he was an artist whose work was quietly gaining recognition. Despite his rising success, Lucas carried his own scars. His family had fractured years ago, leaving him with a guarded heart and an uncheckable fear of vulnerability. Yet beneath his calm exterior was a deep well of kindness and a desire to heal not just himself, but those around him. He spent his mornings painting in his sunlit studio and his afternoons wandering the city streets, sketchbook in hand, capturing moments of quiet grace. The cafe where they met had become a sanctuary for both. Emma for her writing and reflection, Lucas for inspiration and solace. It was a small world of comfort amidst the bustling city, filled with the scent of freshly ground coffee, worn leather-bound books, and the soft murmur of strangers sharing stories. Here, the outside world felt distant, and time slowed enough for two broken souls to begin mending. Though their lives had been separate, Emma and Lucas shared a longing for connection and a hope for something more, a love that wouldn't demand. They'd change, but would embrace them as they were. In that small cafe, beneath the fading light of day, the first chapter of their story quietly began. Emma and Lucas began to cross paths more often, the cafe becoming a backdrop to their unfolding story. At first, their interactions were casual shared smiles over steaming mugs, polite greetings exchanged between the scattered tables. Yet, beneath the surface, something stirred. Emma noticed how Lucas's eyes lingered a moment longer when he spoke, how his presence brought a gentle calm that eased the tension she carried. For Lucas, Emma's quiet strength and thoughtful words became a balm for his restless spirit. One rainy afternoon, the cafe was unusually crowded, forcing them to share a small corner table. The soft patter of rain against the window framed their conversation, which flowed more freely than either expected. They spoke of dreams and fears, of moments that had shaped them, and of the parts of themselves they kept hidden from the world. Lucas found himself drawn to Emma's resilience, while she was captivated by his gentle sincerity. As days turned into weeks, their meetings grew longer and more frequent. They shared laughter over spilled coffee, exchanged book recommendations, and discovered a shared love for old jazz records. There were moments of shy glances and subtle touches, a hand brushing against a sleeve, a fleeting look that spoke volumes. Their connection deepened, a slow-burning warmth that neither wanted to rush but both longed to explore. Yet beneath the budding romance, the walls they had built around their hearts remained. Emma feared losing herself in love again, while Lucas wrestled with the vulnerability it demanded. Despite this, their growing attraction was undeniable, a magnetic pull that promised healing if only they dared to trust it. As the days turned into months, Emma and Lucas found themselves weaving their lives closer together. Each moment shared, peeling back layers of guardedness to reveal tender vulnerability beneath. Their dates became a collection of small but meaningful rituals. Sunday mornings, spent wandering through the town's farmer's market, the scent of fresh bread mingling with laughter. Quiet evenings on Emma's worn porch, wrapped in blankets, as the sky blushed with the colors of sunset, and surprise visits to the local jazz club, where music and whispered confessions filled the air. With every stolen glance and soft touch, trust blossomed between them. Lucas learned of the dreams Emma had tucked away, her yearning to open an art studio, to create beauty from chaos, and in turn, she glimpsed the man behind the smile, a soul marked by past loss but buoyed by hope. They shared fears too, Emma's apprehension about fully opening her heart, Lucas's battle to forgive himself for mistakes long behind him. These moments of emotional honesty wove a deeper intimacy, forging a bond not just of love, but of understanding and acceptance. Romantic gestures came naturally, Lucas leaving little notes tucked inside Emma's sketchbook, encouraging her on difficult days. Emma cooking Lucas's favorite meal after a long, exhausting week. These acts, simple yet profound, spoke louder than words of their growing commitment. They talked about the future, tentatively painting a picture where their lives intertwined, not as perfect people, but as partners willing to stand beside each other through storms and sunshine. Despite the slow burn of their relationship, passion simmered beneath the surface. A glance held a heartbeat longer, a brush of fingers that sent warmth racing through their veins. Their love was not just in grand declarations, but in the quiet moments of being seen, accepted, and cherished exactly as they were. As their connection deepened, life inevitably introduced its challenges. Lucas received an unexpected job offer. In a distant city, an opportunity too good to pass up, but one that threatened to pull them apart. At the same time, Emma wrestled with her own insecurities, haunted by past heartbreaks that whispered doubts into her mind. Could she truly let someone in without losing herself? The thought of change stirred fears she wasn't ready to face. The distance looming between them created tension, as their once effortless conversations now carried an undercurrent of worry. Lucas struggled to balance his ambition with his desire to stay close to Emma, while she grappled with feelings of abandonment and uncertainty. Moments that once brought joy now became fraught with hesitation. Misunderstandings grew from unspoken fears, threatening to unravel the trust they had so carefully built. Yet, even in the darkest moments, their bond was tested and stretched, not broken. They confronted their fears together, learning that love was not about perfection, but persistence. Through honest conversations and heartfelt apologies, they began to navigate the fragile space between holding on and letting go. As the weight of uncertainty pressed heavily on their hearts, Lucas and Emma reached a crossroads that would define the future of their love. The night before Lucas's departure, under a sky dusted with stars, they met at their favorite quiet spot, a small wooden bench overlooking the city lights, a place where dreams once felt limitless. The air was thick with unspoken words, their hands trembling as they reached for each other, desperate to hold on to what felt like slipping away. Lucas looked into Emma's eyes, his voice steady but laced with emotion. "I don't want to leave, Emma, not really. But this opportunity, it's something I've worked for my whole life. I'm scared that if I don't take it, I'll regret it forever. But more than that, I'm terrified of losing you." Emma's breath hitched as tears welled up, her fears mirrored in his gaze. "And I'm scared of what happens if you go. If this distance breaks us, I don't know if I can survive losing you." In that vulnerable moment, the walls they'd built around their hearts crumbled. They realized that love was not about control or certainty, but about trust and choosing each other, even when the path is unclear. Emma reached out, tracing the lines of Lucas's face as if committing every detail to memory. "We'll find a way, together. No matter where you go, my heart is with you. I'm not asking you to change your dreams. I'm asking you to let me be part of them." Lucas smiled, a smile that healed all the silent wounds, the doubts, and fears. "You don't have to change for me, Emma. I choose you exactly as you are. Every piece of you." The words wrapped around her like a warm embrace, a promise that echoed louder than any fear. In that embrace beneath the stars, they made a vow not just to endure the distance, but to grow through it, to fight for their love with everything they had. This was their breakthrough, the moment when love transcended obstacles and blossomed into something unbreakable. With their hearts finally aligned, Lucas and Emma faced the days ahead with renewed hope and determination. The weeks that followed tested their promise in ways neither expected: late-night calls that stretched into dawn, heartfelt letters filled with dreams and fears, and the aching silence of moments spent apart. Yet each message, each whispered, "I love you," was a thread weaving them closer despite the miles. When Lucas finally returned, the city's familiar skyline seemed to shimmer with new meaning. They met again on that same wooden bench, beneath a sky bursting with the soft glow of twilight. This time, their embrace was unshakable, a quiet triumph over distance, doubt, and every challenge life had thrown their way. Lucas looked into Emma's eyes and whispered, "I chose you every single day, and I always will." Emma smiled, tears of joy tracing her cheeks, knowing that true love had been their greatest journey. Together, they stepped forward into a future where neither had to change who they were, because their love was built on acceptance, trust, and the courage to face every storm side by side. Their story, a testament to the power of unwavering love, promised a lifetime of shared dreams, gentle laughter, and the comforting knowledge that no matter what came their way, they would always choose each other without hesitation, without asking for change. In their love, they found their calm, their home, and their forever.